So now we're trying to put a ball onto the screen, and we're going to do the ball a little bit differently than we're doing the paddle. Um, well, it starts off the same, right? We make a ball variable and we set it equal to pygame.surface, and we give it the height and width of the ball that we want. These guys should be variable names that you create, but I just set it to 50-50 just to quickly put it together. So what is this doing? It's creating an object that we're going to put onto our screen that we call a surface. That is 50 pixels by 50 pixels. It's going to represent our ball. You might be thinking, like, no, I don't want my ball to be a rectangle. I want it to be a circle. Don't worry about that. We're going to get into that later. But the way we do that is we're going to set the background color of the surface to transparent, and then we're going to put a transparent picture of a ball onto that surface, so it looks like a round ball, right? So then, and then now we're not going to move the paddle around using a y variable. All right, so that's how we did it with the paddle. We created a y variable based on the keystrokes. We updated the y variable's value to either higher up on the screen or lower down on the screen, and then we blitted the paddle surface at this y position, the updated y position, moving effectively every iteration of the while loop, moving the paddle either up or down. So this, with the ball, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to be using what we call rects. And what is a rect? A rect is positional information regarding a surface. Okay, so this positional information starts out with the x position, then it's the y position. It also has the top of the rectangle, the left side of the rectangle, the right side of the rectangle, the bottom of the rectangle. It has quite a few elements, quite a few values that we can use, but essentially it's just positional information for a rect. Okay, so how do we make it? Well, we got to make a variable that's going to contain it, so we call it ball rect because it's going to be the ball's rect, and then we say pygame.rect. This here is the initial XY position of the rect, and we have it here at middle of the screen on the height and the width, and then this here is the dimensions of the rect. So because we made our ball 50-50, the surface 50-50, we're also setting the rect's height and width here to 50 and 50. Okay, so then now how do we use it? Well, we scroll on down, and when we go ahead and blit, the blit method takes a surface as the first argument, and as the second argument, it could take this is what we call a tuple. It's a x and a y that's in parentheses separated by a comma, or it could take a ball rect. It could take a rect, and remember, a rect is x position, y position, top, bottom, right, left, and I think there's a few more additional pieces of information. But the important part is the first two values are x and y. So putting the rect here is basically the same thing as putting the x and y position here. It's just a little bit more additional information, right? So I'm going to go ahead and leave that as ball rect, and I'll run it. And you'll see now we have our paddle and we have our ball surface. That's 50 pixels by 50 pixels, and its position is the position specified in the ball rect, which is right here. This is the x and y position that we're blitting it to. So blitting can take an x and y tuple. It can also take a rect. Okay, and then further on in the tutorial, we'll show how we can affect the ball's rect values using keystrokes, so that the ball moves around on the screen when we do the blit.